I can't say enough about using, say, Wikipedia to look at the past, like the presidential election of 2020. Joining us now, a congressman from a safe state for Republicans, Arkansas. French Hill joins us quickly here. So thank you so much for stopping by.
Tom, great to be with you.
Congressman. I see the percentages, and I think there's various Trump voters in Arkansas this morning. Now, out there, a really ugly weekend. I think Ian Bremmer has a president saying he's going to jail Democrats. I don't want to get into the silliness.
I thought you were talking about the OSU Razorback game.
No, yeah, that was painful too. But French, I want to talk about the different flavors of Republicans and how they're adapting to the rhetoric of their candidate into this debate.
Well, it's important to know that I think, in my view, President Trump stands for the mainstream of Republican thought on economics: lower regulatory costs, lower taxes that promote economic growth, and that he uses tariffs in his speech. He was off on it in a big way yesterday as a cudgel to bring countries that do not have fair trading practices with the U.S. or lack market access for U.S. products and services to the table. But rhetorically, it's his top international economic issue, which is, you could say, inconsistent with long-term Republican economic philosophy, but not when you look back, say, at the Reagan administration.
The fact is, the news of the week, and Paul, the New York Times Siena poll, I think a lot of people are like, wow, this guy still has a popular vote and clearly electoral vote momentum going. Does he move to the middle with a rhetoric I'm seeing out there?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I think and this has been very consistent, I think, with President Trump. He sticks with this messaging that he has, that he believes so strongly in, and I don't see him moving it. And I think some would argue that Vice President Harris is moving to the middle with some of her proposals, but they're like from the most radical left fringe to slightly less left, not per se to the middle. She uses a lot of press release buzzwords, child care, lowering taxes for working families and things like that. But when you get into the details, I don't think so.
What do you expect to hear from both candidates tomorrow in this debate? Because it may be the only debate.
Yeah, which is not good. I support, obviously more debates, but with early voting, the way we have it in our country now, both campaigns have to get on with it. And I think obviously that President Trump probably wishes that he had a later debate with President Biden and make that knockout punch much later.
But if I go out Route 287 and I go up Highway 65, I go past Twin Groves, Damascus, this is your territory. Are they going to turn out for Trump?
They're going to turn out for Trump. In Damascus, Arkansas, and Faulkner County. Trump, you see Trump signs and Trump banners up and down that highway and across my district, particularly in the rural areas. Trump, for them, speaks about this issue of more opportunity for manufacturing jobs, working people in America, and that he's got their back. And that is a message that delivers.
What would be your question to Vice President Harris in this debate as a Republican away from the MAGA tone?
Do you support policies that actually promote economic growth in cutting regulatory expenses? And what is the right corporate tax rate? And do you think that investments deserve a between 28 and 44% capital gains tax rate? And ask her to explain what an unrealized gain is, actually. I'd like to know her if she understands that math.
So what do you expect? What would you think Vice President Harris needs to do at her debate tomorrow night? What does she need to do?
Well, I think you're right, Paul, thinking she needs to look like she's centrist, that she's not Bernie Sanders, that she's somewhere to the far right of Bernie Sanders, that she is smart and she's up on the issues, and that she's got a sense of humor, but looks presidential. I think it's a big lift for her, but I think that's the main issue for her.
Was the major mistake of Biden, from sea to shining sea, forget about, Paul, the states, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, where President Biden was getting 60, 70% of the vote, whatever. But was the major mistake is he couldn't run to the center, that he ran to the left?
I think so.
Governed to the left.
I think President Biden said, "I'm going to be a better voice. I'm not Trump, and that I'm a common sense, practical guy from Scranton." But he governed as if he was Bernie Sanders and that left agenda of Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and he didn't make any reach to the center. Actually, maybe you could say he did in the bipartisan infrastructure deal, but not much.
The core question is a president. When you look at the language of President Trump on Twitter, people will take him verbatim what he's saying. I'm going to be honest, it's to the edge of incoherent. Can he move? Does he have the ability to move to the middle of the GOP, or is he just going to stay for 4 years on MAGA?
I think he's going to stay where he is. I mean, I think that's the Trump. I think that's Trump.
So, I mean, that's Trump. Is that the Republican Party? Seriously,
well, look,
is that your Republican Party?
Let me go back and say, though, on regulatory budget, having Elon Musk head of a commission to use AI and technology and blockchain to reform the federal government, that's a good idea. That's a Peter Grace good idea. Having lower taxes that don't penalize investment in this country, don't penalize, those are good ideas.
Okay, and I mean, Arkansas can't play football, but do you really want to get rid of the Department of Education?
I think Republicans have campaigned on removing the Department of Education since Jimmy Carter created it.
Fair. French Hill, thank you so much.
Great to be with you, Tom. Paul, good to be with you.
Look forward to seeing you. We'll see you again post-debate.